สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ Welcome to Weekly News Thailand, a news program that keeps you updated about the top stories in Thailand for the past week. You can watch us on Channel 5 and TGN or Thai TV Global Network in 177 countries around the world. I am Polawat Pupipat.
And I am Pariya Netvichi, you can check out the rerun at www.tv5.co.th.
Let's get started with the top story of this week. It's all about the prevention of the COVID-19. The Prime Minister has stressed that there are strict COVID-19 prevention measures in place to control the number of infections. He is asking all the Thai citizens to follow the recommendation of the Ministry of Public Health in order to combat the spread of the coronavirus 2019. General Prayut Chan-o-cha, Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, says the government has tightened screening measures for travelers from high-risk countries in line with the current pandemic situation. He says screening measures are of a high standard, and that means the country is able to control the number of infected people within the country. There are screening checkpoints everywhere, including airports, border crossings, and all checkpoints using manpower from many related agencies. In addition, Thai workers returning from high-risk countries are being screened, especially those coming from South Korea. He says this is one group that government must examine closely, but not too much to have an effect on security. At the moment, these workers are being quarantined for 14 days before traveling and screened again before leaving the country. Anyone coming from a high-risk country must also be quarantined for 14 days. At the same time, the government house has set up a center disseminating information on how to protect yourself against the COVID-19 virus. It acts as a public relations center to publicize and clarify information, as well as explaining steps to monitor and prevent infection. The government has asked those about to study overseas to postpone their journeys to high-risk countries at the moment. Civil servants returning from high-risk countries should monitor themselves for symptoms and work at home for 14 days. The government has also requested cooperation from the private sector in avoiding or postponing events where lots of people gather, such as sporting events, concerts, and theater performances. The government has also taken over mass production to ensure there are no shortages. It is taking care of the production, distribution, and export of masks, including the arrest of those who overcharge for masks. There has been a shortage of raw materials to produce masks, so the government is promoting the production of alternative masks for the general health of the people in order to protect themselves and reduce waste. The Prime Minister warned that there was a lot of fake news being sent out about the situation right now, causing people to panic. He stressed the importance of being aware of the facts and not to spread false rumors about the virus.
The government has opened a new COVID-19 database center at Government House run by the Minister to the Prime Minister's office, focusing on proactive work, countering fake news and hearing complaints from the public. Thewan Liptaphalop, Minister of the Prime Minister's Office and Director of the new data center, announced the opening of the COVID-19 data center set up following a cabinet resolution to bring together data from all government agencies, as well as receiving complaints from the public. It's situated in the Nari Samosan building and will act as a workplace to provide information and coordinate between agencies working against the COVID-19 virus. It will act as a public relations center to disseminate accurate information about the virus and to receive complaints from the general public. It will also coordinate with relevant agencies to help solve problems quickly. They will provide daily reports to the Prime Minister as well as hold daily press conferences. The information will not overlap with the Ministry of Public Health briefings, but instead will follow up on that information and gather information from various ministries. At the same time, Taiwan stressed there was no hoarding of masks going on, according to information from the Ministry of Commerce. He said staff were monitoring all 11 production plants nationwide and had inspected more than 1,000 stores, where it was discovered most masks had sold out. He said if anybody had knowledge of hoarding, they could call 02-288-607024 or 1111. He added news about donation by ministers to the COVID-19 fund were separate from the disaster relief fund set up by the office of the Prime Minister.
Government agencies responsible for managing the COVID-19 pandemic have issued a joint statement on ways to combat with this virus and prevent risk groups coming in from abroad. A press conference was held to explain guidelines for the prevention of the COVID-19 pandemic, held by Dr. Rungrung Kitpati, spokesperson of the Ministry of Public Health, Admiral Vichai Manat, Naval Chief Medical Center, Somkit Jantamarik, Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, and Vichai Pochanakit, Director General of the Department of Internal Trade. The Ministry of Public Health said there were about 50 confirmed cases of the virus, claiming Thailand was the first country in the world to seriously screening and treat people with the virus, and most patients had already recovered. And to update, by the past Friday, the cases were about 70 confirmed cases. As for the 80 illegal workers who had fled after returning from South Korea, the spokesperson said they had all now been accounted for. He said the situation had been explained to them and everyone was cooperating well. When airplanes land in Thailand, there will be a special parking area so that public health officials from the Immigration Bureau can screen passengers. Anyone found to have a fever will be sent directly to hospital according to procedure. Those coming from high-risk areas will be separated and sent to the Sattahip Naval Base, where a medical team will take care of them for 14 days. Major General Vichai Manatsiri Wittiya, Chief Naval Medical Officer, said 188 Thai workers returning from South Korea were being detained for 14 days at the Sattahip Naval Base in Chonburi, comprising 99 women and 89 men. It's all part of a strict screening system that ensures there is the least possible contact with the patients, lessening the risk of passing on the virus. It focuses on the safety of community in the vicinity as well as those coming into contact with patients under what is called the Incident Command System. Somkit Jantamarik, Deputy Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, said every province had facilities ready to test people coming from high-risk countries for the virus, with a total of 232 locations, and according to standards laid out by the Department of Disease Control. At the same time, the Ministry of Interior is responsible for low-risk groups who appear healthy by coordinating with the Ministry of Transport to arrange special express buses to pick them up from the airport, delivering them to their locations to undergo the care process under the provincial communicable disease committees. Vichai Pochanakit, spokesperson of the Ministry of Commerce, confirmed that the ministry had allocated 1.2 million medical masks for use in hospitals. These were being sent out to high-risk medical personnel and patients. The Ministry of Public Health will receive a total of 700,000 masks per day. The Food and Drug Administration and the government pharmaceutical organization is overseeing the distribution of masks to medical institutions, airlines, and agencies that perform the duties at airports who have contact with travelers. And another 200,000 masks will be distributed per day to the general public via convenience stores in the provinces, as well as another 150,000 to 200,000 masks to be sold at blue flag stores. The Pharmaceutical Society is distributing 25,000 packs of masks per day, and there are 4 masks per pack. Sales are limited to 1 pack per one person, and anyone overcharging will be punished with a 5-year jail sentence and a fine of 100,000 baht.
The Royal Thai Armed Forces headquarters is speeding up the production of masks to send to soldiers, their families, and neighboring communities, as well as being ready to support the private sector in making and distributing masks to get to the general public quickly. General Pornpipat Benyasi, Commander-in-Chief, was present for the activity called Safe from COVID-19, in which members of the Army Housewives Association, Army Headquarters personnel, and volunteers came together to make face masks and sanitary gel for distribution to military personnel and their families to reduce the spread of virus. The Commander-in-Chief said it was a voluntary activity under the concept of making reusable masks and would continue until the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus is contained. The group of volunteers is expected to produce 5,000 to 10,000 masks per day. In addition, the volunteers were enlisted with ensuring military personnel and their families knew of the strict measures set out by the government to prevent and reduce the spread of COVID-19 so that they and society remain safe and act responsibly. At the same event, it was revealed military areas were being opened to the public to support travelers return from high-risk countries who needed to be quarantined, as well as providing medical services if required.
The Army is doing its part to strictly enforce the screening of travelers for COVID-19 in border areas, as well as helping to make masks for troops to help reduce demand in the marketplace. Colonel Sirijan Ngatong, Deputy Army spokesperson, said the Army continued to support measures to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus in accordance with the government guidelines, both in monitoring the situation and giving advice to the general public, troops, and their families. She said screening procedures have been tightened at border checkpoints, with the Army working closely with the public hospitals. Anyone entering or leaving the country is being screened, and if an infection is detected, strict medical procedures are in place. Face masks are one way to preventing the spread of germs, and they are currently in high demand. The military camps in many places are making them, with military personnel and their families taking fabric and sewing them to create masks. This is happening in places like the Special Warfare Center of Narai Military Camp and the Anantamahidol Hospital in Lopburi Province, the 9th Infantry Division in Kanchanaburi, and the Department of Civil Engineering in Ratchaburi. In other news, the Army's Quartermaster Department, which usually makes military uniforms, is now making face masks with cloth, with the Preventive Medical Unit of the Royal Thai Army Medical Department overseeing the work to ensure masks are made in an acceptable standard. So far, they have produced 3,000 masks distributed to troops, their families, and neighboring communities. Troops have been asked to wear them while working and participating in activities. The Army Quartermaster Department says it will continue to produce the cloth masks as needed.
We will take a short break and stay tuned.
ออกไปค้นพบโลกกว้างร่วมสัมผัสประสบการณ์การท่องเที่ยวในหลากหลายแง่มุมไปกับพิธีกรหลากหลายสไตล์ที่จะทำให้ชีวิตของคุณไม่จำเจอีกต่อไปในรายการ Joy Day ถนนแห่งการเดินทางทุกวันอาทิตย์ 3:35 ทางช่องททบ 5 เพราะชีวิตคือการเดินทาง
มาเรียนรู้และทำความเข้าใจ วิทยาศาสตร์เทคโนโลยีและนวัตกรรม เพื่อต่อยอดความรู้และขับเคลื่อนประเทศไปข้างหน้าอย่างรู้ลึกรู้จริงเข้าใจง่ายกับสเต็มวลคำ9,000 Thailand 4.0 ทุกวันจันทร์ถึงศุกร์ในช่อง 5 ข่าวค่ำเริ่ม 16 มีนาคมนี้
We open our home to welcome people from all over the world. Top of Thai รายการสารคดีเชิงท่องเที่ยวภาษาอังกฤษ will bring you close to the Thai culture, tradition and lifestyle from every part of Thailand. See you every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.
We will take you anywhere Thailand has to offer in Top of Thai.
Welcome back to Weekly News Thailand. The Prime Minister has announced a new campaign in which farmers, the general public and business operators can go to him directly to air their grievance. General Prayut Chan-o-cha, Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, announced the campaign called "If You Have a Problem, Consult the Prime Minister" at its official opening at the Thai Kufa building at Government House. He says he welcomes people from three groups, namely farmers, the general public, and business operators, to detail their problems, especially those who are directly affected by economic problems. He says by listening to the problems, he hopes to be able to alleviate their suffering and truly meet the needs of each group. The Prime Minister says this project stems from his intention to listen to the voice of the people directly and with an open mind. He says many people are suffering from the economic downturn around the world due to trade wars combined with the danger of the spread of the COVID-19 virus, which has disrupted world economies. He says in the past, the government was not ignorant of these problems and always laid down measures to find solutions to help all groups of people. Now he says he is ready to hear directly the comments and problems of those affected who need government help. He says the government will compile the information and use it to come up with solutions to the problems and continue to help those affected directly.
The government says it is continuing to solve the problem of illegal fishing by allowing foreigners from neighboring countries to enter Thailand to work. Deputy Prime Minister General Prawit Wongsuwan chaired a meeting of the National Fisheries Policy Committee at Government House, in which the committee approved the draft law of the Prime Minister's office regarding the insurance or the issuance of special work papers for ship's crews. This is a measure that hopes to relieve the problem of manpower shortages in the fishing industry. From now on, it will be easier for workers from Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar to enter the country to work in the industry. The committee resolved to appoint an English translator to translate the order into English for the European Union to understand, in an effort to show transparency and sincerity in solving the problem of illegal fishing. In addition, General Prawit urged the committee to seriously tackle the problems of illegal fishing transparently, along with the appropriate relaxation of fishing operations. He said any amendment of law must be in line with government policy and not be in conflict with the international treaties and obligations. It was also important to ensure that the management of marine resources was done in a sustainable manner and that all sectors understood the measure, including ship owners, laborers, and the general public, in order to continue solving the problems in the industry. On to the other news, the Army has mobilized disaster relief personnel and technicians to repair houses damaged from the recent storm in Khon Kaen, alleviating suffering according to the policy of the Army Commander General Apirat Khongsompong. Major General Pramod Nakjantuk, Commander of the 23rd Army District and Director of the Army's Disaster Relief Center, ordered the personnel to help out people using 3 sets of military equipment. He also coordinated with technicians to help repair houses in the area of Ban Phang sub-district and district Ban Thum sub-district, Don Chang sub-district and Ban Hwa sub-district, all of which are in Mueang district of Khon Kaen province. More than 1,300 houses were damaged in the storm that swept over Khon Kaen on the night of March of the 4th. The Army is working with the government, local administrative organizations, volunteers, and community leaders, as well as donating survival kits such as winter blankets for those affected.
Military units under the 2nd Army Region are distributing water under the Rat Rat Ruom Jai drought project in Khon Kaen province. Troops from the Disaster Relief Battalion of Engineer Corps Battalion 202 Region 2 Army, together with volunteers in Nam Pong District, have brought a 6,000-liter water truck to distribute drinking water to people under the Rat Rat Ruom Jai drought project. This project helps drought victims who lack drinking water in Ban Hua Bung village number 11, Phang Thui sub-district, Nam Pong district, Khon Kaen province. It's hoped the water will last until the start of the rainy season. Ban Hua Bung is a village that does not have a large reservoir to store water for use during the dry season and has no waterways either. It was also affected by the storms that hit the area from March the 3rd to the 6th. There is not enough rain for water for consumption, so people in those areas are affected by drought and water shortages. Meanwhile, the Agricultural and Cooperative Extension Unit 2 from the Office of Military Development, Armed Forces Development Command, together with the local government, brought 2 trucks of water, a total capacity of 12,000 liters, to help the people of Nong Maklua, Dong Chon Sub-District, Mueang District, Sakon Nakhon Province. They topped up the village reserve tanks with clean water after their supply ran dry owing to drought. They also brought clean water to fill up the water tanks of Ban Nong Maklua School so that students would get clean drinking water as well. Nong Maklua village has 159 households without a large water source and they rely on groundwater. Recently, however, this water source had dried up owing to drought, which means local tap run dry and there was not enough water for the village and the school.
And that concludes today's edition of Weekly News Thailand. Thank you so much for your attention. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ